Hey guys, welcome back. We are going to do a video very soon on this X7 M50i. Super new, super impressive, kind of BMW winning me back. Yeah, but tonight we're doing an update on the E92 M3. And as much as I love this car, sometimes it tests me. This is my daily driver. It's got just almost 90,000 miles. So let's start it up and see what happens, and I'll tell you why we're doing this video. All right, so here's the deal. These cars, they're always frustrating. They are. And especially when you have them out of warranty, there's always going to be a thing. There's always a thing. And this car has actually been very good to me, except that, yeah, it has needed work. It has needed valve cover gaskets. It's needed gaskets and stuff in the DCT. Those leak, man. They all leak. And throttle actuators, rod bearings, all of the things. I've lived the E92 experience. And look, the butler thing doesn't want to give me my seatbelt. So I've lived the E92 experience as much as you possibly can, aside from rod bearing failure, because I've done the preventative maintenance. But so the other day, I need to get a sticker, and I'm getting a brake light malfunction. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go get a bulb. I just ran down to AutoZone. I was gonna order it from FCP Euro because that's where I get everything. And by the way, did you know that FCP and FCP Euro stands for foreign car parts? That I did not know that. I feel dumb. Does everyone know that? Is that one of those things like everybody knows and I didn't know? Anyway, it would have cost more to ship them than for the bulbs themselves. So I just ran down to AutoZone and grabbed some bulbs. No big deal. Pop in the bulb. Yay, it works. Get in the car, start it, boom, check engine light. So I cleared the codes, and the check engine light that was coming on was secondary air issues. Now, I've had secondary air issues on this car before, but they were fixed, and my guess was my dad was sitting in the car testing the pedal for me, and he started it, and I said, oh no, you don't need to start it. Shut it off immediately, like start, stop. Ooh, the car probably hadn't been started in 3 weeks. And my guess is that like a flap or something was unhappy. So then when I did start it the next time, it threw the code. So I deleted that code and, ooh, airplane. So I cleared that code, and then I started driving it around, because you got to do a drive cycle, right? You're going to go get your car inspected. It's not just, oh, and off you go. So you got to do a drive cycle, and then you can have all of your systems ready, right? That's how it works. So I forgot what the drive cycle for this car looked like, and it is cumbersome. You can't go over 3,000 RPM. So if I have to suffer through it, you have to suffer through it, and we can talk about owning cumbersome cars, because what better way to describe owning your aging BMW than to talk about how you can't even use it to its fullest potential because it's got finicky issues. So the way the drive cycle works on these is basically you keep it under 3,000 RPM, you never go over, and first you go out and do some 30 mile an hour stuff like we're doing right now. And holy cow, the birds had a field day on this windshield. Oof. Oh, I forgot to mention, when I went in to drive it again, the secondary air issue was gone, or at least it hadn't come up yet. But then the oil sensor was giving me trouble, because this has an electronic dipstick, the oil conditioning sensor, and if it doesn't want to read, then it's just going to throw a code. It's very frustrating. And you know what? I would have just happily taken a dipstick over another effing sensor. Pardon my abbreviated French. But I would like to get my car inspected. It's registered. It's legal. I spend the money on it. I maintain it. So when it throws like an emissions code the day you're going in, drives you absolutely bonkers. Today, I interviewed PTSRS on the podcast up at Garage 42, which I'm really excited about. And Will Lee, who is PTSRS on Instagram, if you don't know who that is, it's a pretty large Instagram. It's like over 100,000 followers. But not just the follower count that matters, it's like the quality of the followers. I mean, Jerry Seinfeld is like an avid follower of this, which is really cool. But Will's a good friend of mine, and he's also just very shy about putting his own persona on PTSRS. He usually stays back from the limelight. He lets the cars talk for themselves, which is fine, but he has a lot to say, and he's very intelligent, and he's very informed about like all things Porsche, all things cars, especially weird, quirky things. So I would always like to see him get more out there, because I think his opinion really matters, and he doesn't really put that out there. So today, for like the first time, he did a podcast with me, which I'm really excited about, and he was one of the big driving factors behind me even starting the podcast, and that'll come out on Tuesday. I'm really excited about that episode. But, you know, other than that, I think life is just very bizarre. COVID is bizarre. Life is bizarre. I'm just trying to stay sane. One of the big things that's improved my quality of life is not having that 9-to-5 job at my old engineering position, my project management position. And I talked to people there who are currently working there, some of the folks who haven't been laid off. A lot of people did get laid off. Man, I probably would have collected a nice little package if I just stuck it out. Okay, people just running on this road right now, crazy. On the wrong side of the road, by the way. You run into traffic, you don't run yeah, that's bananas. Bananas, that's bananas. But those people who are still working are putting in 10, 12 hours a day, because now there's less support, and they don't have like this in-person meeting thing, which that's gotta be, I can't even imagine doing like engineering projects without meeting in person. That's, oh, hot rod. Seriously, man, I'm telling you, this area is just hot rod city. So not having the just sheer panic every day of having to go into work or having to deal with like angry customers, because I'm sure they're very angry for things being late, that has helped my quality of life significantly. However, it doesn't just solve all your problems. I'm still, you know, riddled with anxiety on a regular basis, and that's just who I am. And to help that, to do the right thing, I've got to be like exercising, not drinking, eating correctly. And it's so funny because we all know exactly what we need to do to be healthy, to be happy, to be like sustainable human beings and like be okay. Yet we never do it. It's like, oh, eat well. Well, sorry, man, I need to eat a pint of ice cream every day. Or, you know, you'd be a lot happier if you just ran a mile, like 1 mile every day. Yeah, no, I think I'll just keep taking these antidepressants. Like, it's funny because you can literally trade for some of these things. And I'm not saying it's just the answer for everybody. A lot of people do need to be on medication for, like, you know, heart problems or antidepressants. But a lot of us are like actually just like healthy people, and we've just chosen not to be. And so I need to get back into the running, because I think my anxiety is on the rise again, because I haven't been doing like the hardcore cardio that I was doing. And it's funny because all you want to do when you've got that anxiety is kill it. You want to squash it with what? With booze. With like all the things you shouldn't be doing. All the things that you're like, oh, this is how I'm actively helping myself. But those are the things that you immediately run to after. So I'm trying to stay away from that, and I've been successful. A funny story about YouTube though is that you never know who's watching you, and sometimes you find out who's watching you in the strangest ways. So my cousin, who is about, I don't know, 5 to 10 years older than me, she has 3 kids. She's like an established adult, and so she's watching her son on YouTube, and he's like, hey, check this out, look at this, and it's some car video, and she goes, you know that's your cousin Tom, right? And he's like, no way. And so she has like this, you know, 11-year-old son who watches me on YouTube, which frankly is unbelievably flattering, but also completely horrifying, because I'm like, what have I said out loud on this channel that is going to be terribly inappropriate for an 11-year-old boy? I hope nothing too scarring, so if I have damaged you in any way, my sincerest apologies. I love you, your family. So the moral of the story is, I love this car, but you have to drive it like every other day, or else it's going to give you crap. Like, the second you let these things sit for a month, they just act up. It's crazy. Like, they really don't like to be neglected. So if you do own like older BMWs, unless you have it in like some hermetically sealed case in perfect conditions, like, you gotta just drive it, or else it's not lubricated, it's not happy, and it freaks out when you start it up again. So that's all I got to say. Now I'm gonna go sit and idle for like a few minutes, because that's the end of the drive cycle. All right, let's pop on the OBD2 reader. We should have completed the drive cycle, and we should see that all of the monitors are complete. This is old, man. Still 3 incomplete. So we have not done the job. Alright, well, that's the lesson, guys. Don't stop driving your old M3s. You just gotta keep them moving at all times, or else they will not be happy with you. Man, that's annoying. Well, in that case, don't forget to respect the drive, and I'll see you in the next one.